So cryptocurrency just means it's encrypted. Okay? And then there's like a loose set of definitions, but generally right now, when it's for it to be considered crypto, it's running on a technology called blockchain. And the general idea is that it's moving from one block, so information on one block, and you make a change, it moves to the next block, to the next block, okay? So then whatever happens in block A, you can't change it if it's encrypted properly, so that it's very, very transparent, and you can't manipulate it and fudge the information. Like what's happening with the Federal Reserve's balance sheet? Nobody knows, right? Like, because they have the public one, and then all the rumors is a private one. It's just very, very shady, whereas this has to be public, okay? And then there's a bunch of different ways of encrypting or doing the blockchain, and they're almost all taking a decentralized approach, okay? So basically, if you pretend like you reward people for actually hosting the block on your computer, you have 100 computers, right? If you have one where you need a majority, then you're gonna need to hack into 51 computers to actually be able to hack into this crypto and then break the encryption. Okay, that's just one way. That's called a proof of work, and that's where Bitcoin uses, okay? So does this make sense? Okay. Two biggest benefits of crypto is that there's a set amount. So as soon as you create, say Bitcoin, there's gonna be 21 million, you can't print more. There's just gonna be 21 million, okay? And then it's decentralized because of how we do blockchain. Okay, so I would say blockchain technology and crypto, if I had to kind of like make a comparison for where we're at right now, it's probably about like 1994, 93, right before AOL became popular, and then a lot of people had internet for the first time, okay? There's no doubt society as a whole is moving towards blockchain technology because you could use it in gaming, you could use it in file data sharing, you could use it in voting, so you're gonna see probably like the way we vote is gonna be on a blockchain. Obviously like financial institutions are gonna use it, how we actually do lending, we do something called smart contracts, all that kind of stuff. Everything is gonna move towards blockchain because it's secure, it's faster, and then it's just a superior technology, okay? We're moving towards that. And then if you remember, the dot-com bubble was like 98 to 2000, every company was like getting these crazy valuations because they had a website and a catchy name, and then the dot-com bubble popped in 2000, okay? So with blockchain technology, if I said crypto earlier, I meant blockchain, I think we're right before where the internet got adopted. But as far as crypto, right, if the dot-com bubble was like 98 to 2000, I think we're at like 97, 98, right at the start of the dot-com bubble craze right now, okay? Having said that, last I checked, there was 8,000 something cryptocurrencies. I think when the bubble pops, 99+% of them are going to go to zero, okay? Just like with the dot-com bubble, okay? So if you get into crypto and you literally just don't pay attention, you can lose all your money. You can lose all your money, okay? But if you pay attention, right? Amazon, PayPal, Google, right? They all survived the dot-com bubble crash. And if you got in, say, Amazon in 98, what is it worth now compared to then, right? The returns are astronomical because when something crashes, the ones that survive, they're gonna consolidate all the money and the power, right? So we had, like 15 years ago, HD DVD and Blu-ray, right? Blu-ray ended up winning, HD DVD went away to zero, okay? So it's gonna be like that here. You have a bunch of cryptos, a lot of them are competing to do the same thing. The one that wins will end up winning, okay? Any questions with this? Okay. So, crypto is a general kind of asset class. Bitcoin was the first one, okay? Bitcoin I think the white paper, so white paper is, they publish a paper describing what it does, how they're going to do it. I think that came out in 2009, and that's why people associate Bitcoin with crypto, but there's way more cryptocurrency than just Bitcoin, okay? I was going to say something, I forgot. Oh, yeah, let's talk about this, okay. So the general idea, if you're going to invest long term, right, you want to find something that's undervalued, right? So if you feel like this should be worth 20, right? And right now it's at 5, right? Long term, you make a good valuation, it's going to correct to 20, right? If something's overvalued, let's just say it's worth 20, and then long term you think it's going to go over 5, it's likely that over long term you're going to lose money, okay? Just because something's going to go to 5 long term doesn't mean you can't invest into it and make more money now, okay? So I think that's the stock market right now. Stock markets, obviously stocks have been around a lot longer, so we have valuations that we can use for what a stock should be worth. So numbers like Ford P&Es, like a popular one mixed with a bunch of other numbers, right? Ford, so forward P, profit over earnings, right? Like if a company's not generating income and they're making money, like fundamentally, how can you trust the company, the shares of the company, to actually hold up over time, right? That's like a common one, okay? So by all the fundamental technical indicators, stock markets are very overpriced right now. Okay, so when it's overpriced and then there's a lot of hype, we're in what we call a bubble. Does not mean that it can't go up more. It's just that it's unsustainable, because if you're trading the stocks at this price and the company's financials are this, where we don't really know, like long term, it's way more likely that it's going to correct and then go to whatever it's normally worth, right? Whereas if you know, if you could see into the future, right? And then you know what Amazon's going to become, and it's 1998, right? Like, okay, here's the potential for it. Right now, if I get in, I think this is its potential. You're getting into something that you think is undervalued. Now, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed, right? Because nothing's guaranteed, there's no certainty. But if you're going to invest, you would feel a lot better investing into something that's undervalued rather than something that's overvalued, okay? Now, as I'm talking about crypto, this is the most important part with crypto, besides the very first part where I talked about manifesting energy. This is kind of tied into that. If there's no excitement about crypto, it's not for you. You're not going to make money doing it, even if there's a great opportunity. Whereas like if you think about real estate, doing rental property, flipping houses, whatever, that actually excites you. You could go do research and you could keep up with it. That's better for you, okay? You have to find investment, like you have to invest into something that actually interests you, that you can follow, and that gets you a little excited. There's so many different things. There's people that are flipping Pokemon cards, collector's shoes, like weed stocks, like you don't have to do crypto, okay? Like that's the most important thing. You have to actually have a genuine excitement and interest, and then like be a nerd. So as you can tell, I'm a nerd about this. I studied this endlessly, where I could talk about it, and this actually excites me, which is why I settled in on this, okay? So this investment stuff makes sense, okay? So when I was looking around, I did ayahuasca last April. I literally noticed afterwards, my experience of money moved, it shifted. And it used to be locked in with my dad before, and then my experience with my dad and money both shifted. All of a sudden the economy, the part I talked about before, became really interesting to me, and I started studying it. And about a week or two later, my mom called me and was like super confident, which is not like a normal thing, because she's usually always worried and concerned and just about like being safe. And she's super confident because my dad's company just took off, okay? Not saying ayahuasca will make you a lot of money, but my experience, it definitely had a huge part to do with it, because everything with money changed for me after that. So this was about 9 months ago. And then my dad's company has just been doing really, really well since, okay? Maybe just, I don't know. But if you are interested in ayahuasca, actually the person here I'm talking to is Amy, so contact me, I'll link you up with her, okay? We have no idea what the proper valuation of crypto is, which is what makes it exciting, okay? Now, my general sentiment, this is my opinion, is that it's undervalued, because of a couple things. One, people are scared. Okay. It's not really easy to get into it, so ease of access. And there hasn't been utility yet, so there's speculation. No mass utility. Okay, so basically when it becomes easy to get into crypto and people are really confident and like I get into like an Uber and the Uber driver's talking about it, I think this phase is going to be over. Okay, so this current phase, this bubble that we're getting into, kind of like the dot-com bubble, you're going to be able to make a shitload of money, but I don't think utility really matters that much, right? In 98, 99, it's not so much how useful your company is, even though it's great if your company was useful and already doing stuff, it's more how much hype you could generate, okay? So you can actually have useless crypto, it'll still make you a bunch of money. I think after this next phase, I think the bubble will kind of pop, or we might just kind of, a lot of bubbles are gonna pop in crypto, but then the ones that survive will just keep going. The next phase, utility will really matter, okay? So my general stocks that I'm the highest on are already being used, and I see that like it has a good chance of actually being utilized in the future. Okay, now I'll go over some of those. Okay, so any questions with this? Okay, and this is the reason why I think it's undervalued, because there's not a lot of history with it. We don't know where it's at, whereas like based on like fundamental history, stocks are by any like fundamental standards overvalued. Okay?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it true that every cryptocurrency has a set and fixed supply?
Yes. Every cryptocurrency, when they make it, because it's on a blockchain, there's already a set amount. So you can't print more of it, okay?
They can just add new streams of crypto within their portfolio.
So I'll give you an example of maybe one reason why you want to invest in crypto. Then I'll go over the ones I'm the highest on and then how to get started, okay? So we're gonna create a fake crypto together, okay? It's going to be the Starbucks crypto. Okay, I'll call it Bucks. So you have the Starbucks app? Okay, you have a Starbucks app, I have it on my phone. Right now when you open it, it's linked to my credit card. I could go add funds, and then it'll show up in my app as I have $20 in there, okay? Why the hell would I want to use the Starbucks app? Okay, it's because one, they incentivize you, right? So if you sign up for the app, you get a free coffee. And then every coffee you purchase, you get free stars. And you have to actually use it through the app to actually get your stars, right? Or if you sign up now, if you put $20 in, we'll give you $5 for free. So they're incentivizing you to use the app, right? Now right now in the Starbucks app, it shows up, you put 20 bucks in, it shows up as 20 bucks. What if it was on a blockchain, and it was a crypto, when you're putting US dollars in, now it shows up as a cryptocurrency bucks, okay? And they're gonna peg it, so they're gonna denominate the coffee they sell, right? Let's just say a normal coffee is $3, right? Each buck is gonna cost you $2. This example breaks down a little bit because in a free market, the price of Starbucks, the bucks will fluctuate, right? But let's just say it's $2. Right? But if you buy it with USD, it'll be $3. Okay, that's another way to incentivize you to actually buy the bucks, because if you use this, you get $3 worth, which is paying $2, right? So boom, you're converting to it, okay? Let's just say the inflation thing happens, and now a coffee isn't gonna be $3, it's gonna cost you $6. Okay, and then they pegged it where each buck, you could still get a coffee. You could still get a coffee for free. You could still buy a coffee for each buck, okay? So now before, maybe it was worth, you would, because of how you're comparing it to the good that they sell, it was worth $3, even though you only had to pay $2 for it before. Now the valuation for $1 would be at $6. Does that make sense? Because of inflation, okay? Now, in this case, nominally, you went from $2 to $6, right? So you got a 200% gain, right? With the money, you have 300% the money compared to before. So you had 2 before, right? And if you sold it, so you bought in at 2, and now it's worth 6 when you sold out. So right now you can't sell money out of Starbucks. If you could do it, right, now it's 6. So you can actually speculate into Starbucks or Bucks because you think it'll hold value, you trust the company, you know, it'll keep providing value, and they can't create more of this. So to hedge against inflation, right? So even if we inflate away, right, the Bucks will just be worth more, so it's still holding up against inflation because I could still buy a coffee with a Bucks. Okay, that makes sense? Okay. The other way to speculate into it is because right now, for some reason, people are scared to use this. Okay, so it's actually trading at $1. Okay, and then you know it's probably should be properly valued at $3 because the coffee is actually at $3 right now. But because there's a lot of fear right now, there's a barrier to entry. So if you buy a Bucks, you could actually get it for $1. You could get a coffee with it, or you could hold it. So now you think, hey, it's undervalued, and then based on like where I think it's going to go once it becomes more popular, I think it'll actually be $3. So I'm going to get 200% return. Okay. One reason why you want to use crypto, even if you don't plan on buying any Starbucks, if you could sell it, right? Why not speculate into that and hold it? Okay, that makes sense? Okay. So the ones that I'm the highest on right now are XRP, VET. These 2 I currently own. The other ones I really want to own, but because crypto is still so new in the US, other parts of the world could get them. You can't purchase them in the US, but as soon as they're available, I would actually get them. Is Theta. One that I'm really interested in is Filecoin. And then one that's called a Spark token, but the ticker symbol is FLR. Okay? Yeah. FLR. It's called Spark, but it's FLR. Okay. This one hasn't even launched yet. These 2 are available. This one you can only get on Uphold right now because they're being investigated by the SEC so for being a security, which obviously it's a company that already has shares, and then it's not going to hold. It's just whenever it goes away. Okay. So this is for this is kind of what I have. Okay, and just to give you an idea, I'm just going to base it off of like last May. May 8th of 2020 is when I opened my first crypto account. XRP was at 22 cents. I think right now, last I looked, it was at like 28. It actually hit 92 cents about a month and a half ago, and then the lawsuit came and then they dropped down, which is very unfortunate because I have about 60% of my crypto in XRP. VET last May was 0.003. And then last I checked, it was trading at 0.029. Theta, oh man, I didn't look it up because I don't have it, but it was under 10 cents. So let's just say less than 10 cents. And then last I checked, it was right around $2. Filecoin is really new. Right now it's at like 22. It started out at about 30. It launched at, I think it went about 30, went all the way up to like $130, and then came like crashing down. So it's right about there right now. But this one only launched like last October. And the FLR hasn't launched yet. It's supposed to launch in March or April. But I have a lot of FLR because it was tied to XRP. Okay. There's other ones. This is where you can start doing some like research to get more familiar. But what I would recommend is just start a account, buy a little bit, and then you'll just start figuring a lot more of it out. So the 2 exchanges I would recommend, one is crypto.com. So I personally use that. I've been using it since late May of last year. Everyone starts with Coinbase. Don't use Coinbase, it sucks. So no. Okay, the other one I would recommend is Uphold. So Uphold, actually, you could still purchase XRP. So I actually have an Uphold account. I just started about like 3 weeks ago, but I would actually recommend just starting an account on both. And then it's very easy to, basically you'll have an address. So like you just put in the address, say like you want to transfer from Crypto.com to Uphold, you could just send it over, like based on an address, almost like an email. Okay, and then within the exchange, right, you could have dollars, you could buy into XRP, you could sell it out back into dollars, and you could transfer it to your bank account. With Crypto.com, I have a debit card, so I can actually load some of the crypto directly into US dollars on my debit card and just like use it at a restaurant, grocery store. Or if it's not pegged to the dollar, I can, it's not pegged to something that the card accepts, I can sell it out into the US dollar and then just load that onto the credit card or load into the bank account. So you can see how like, once I do this, the need for banking kind of has gone away, right? Why would I need a commercial bank when I could essentially do banking with this? And I can actually speculate into crypto and just hold it there and then move it out, right? There's something called stable coins. So stable coins are just coins that are supposedly backed by US dollars. So they're just worth $1 no matter what, right? So like you can actually buy into stable coins if you want, or you can just store it basically in the exchange as money. You could have a debit card you could use with it. You can move it into your bank account you want. It takes away the need for banking. And then especially something with crypto that's popular now, it's called DeFi, short for decentralized financing, right? Basically where now you could borrow money, you have to put up collateral with some like crypto, and it's basically taking even more of the function of the bank away. So it's decentralized and everything. And I think with the whole like latest GameStop hedge fund thing, we're just gonna accelerate towards that more because people are gonna see the need for that more and more. Okay, I don't know if this is gonna be the catalyst for it, probably not, but if anything, it opens the eyes to people like, they're just like, holy shit, right? Because right now, if you just understand a little bit of the finance and then you hear what's going on from the politicians, or like what these people on like CNBC or like the Fed chairman is saying, it literally is like them basically in plain sight saying, I want you to bend over and I'm gonna screw you in the butt. Half the people are too asleep to realize it, and the other half are like cheering them. I'm like, thank you so much. And it's like, how do you like, he's gonna screw you. He just said he was gonna do it. And I'm like, thank you so much for printing out, that's the stimulus. It's just like, come on guys, you know? So like, you can tell I'm very passionate that people are awake to this. Okay, oh, and last thing. Anyone that thinks the Fed and the Treasury, the US government is separate, so, okay, Janet Yellen, Jerome Powell, okay? Jerome Powell is a current Federal Reserve chairman, okay? He's the one that's on TV the most, right? He's has the highest position in the Federal Reserve. He took over from Janet Yellen in 2018. So he's been there from 2018 till now. Janet Yellen was there from 2014 through 2018. So she was there through the Obama, the last part of the second term of Obama's administration and the first 2 years of Trump, okay? Before Jerome Powell was the current Fed Reserve chairman, he was the Undersecretary of the Treasury. Janet Yellen just got sworn in or approved by the Senate, I think yesterday, to be the new Treasury Secretary for the Biden administration. So they literally just kind of flip the role, not roles because it's a different position, but like the entity they're working for. So she's now working for the government. He's working for the central bank, which is supposed to be independent. His job before was working for the government. Her job before was in charge of the central bank. Okay? She is known to be a big proponent of printing money. Everything she said when she was the Fed chairman, everything she's been saying recently is we're just gonna do more and more stimulus. We can't worry about the debt right now. Okay? So you can see the people that are more financially savvy they see the writing on the wall, right? The stock market is gonna go up. It could either crash up or crash down. If it crashes up, it'll be like Venezuela. When they hit hyperinflation, the stock market literally just went parabolic, right? But the money also went hyperinflation, or it could crash down, Okay? Did I miss anything? Yeah.
So what is it that you like, especially about XRP or VET or these?
Okay. These two, so XRP, I think from a technical standpoint, as just far as like, oh, and that's why the problem with Bitcoin, it was originally designed to replace money, right? It has scalability issues, so it's really expensive, it's really slow, it requires a lot of power. So I read somewhere from multiple sources, but I haven't really confirmed it, that all the miners, so basically computers, and they have to get higher and higher power computers to basically do the proof of work for the blockchain part of the Bitcoin, they account for 1% of the power consumption of the world right now. Okay, all of the miners in the world for Bitcoin. And 4 of the 6 biggest miners for Bitcoin, so mining is just basically you're running your computer to verify blocks, and if you verify a certain amount of blocks, then you mine a Bitcoin, right? So they're basically using that mechanism to have people do encryption. 4 of the 6 biggest miners, a Bitcoin in the world right now is located in China. So theoretically, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, could just seize it, and then they could cause a lot of problems, okay? Which is the reason why I'm not high on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is one everyone knows, so everyone's gonna move into, but it's already moved, right? It was at, oh, by the way, in May, Bitcoin, when I got in, was in, I wanna say about like $8,000 or $9,000, right? About 2 weeks ago, it hit $42,000. Right now, it's trading around 32,000, right? So it's already moved about 4x, right? I just think risk versus reward, any one of these coins, or basically anything other than Bitcoin in the top 50, there's way more of a potential return, because I think we're in that bubble where everything's gonna really, really go up. And then I think once that bubble pops, these 5, there's more, these aren't the only 5, it's just up the top of my head, they actually have utility, okay? So XRP, I think technically is the best. It also is the most hated because they decided to actually integrate with banks. So what they have is a very, very strong fundamental, because there's a company called Ripple that has been around 7, 8 years now. They have all these relationships with banks. And basically they're supposed to replace, well, the first thing they're doing is replacing the SWIFT system, so wiring money. So right now if you wire money, it takes a few business days, really expensive fees, right? And then there's a 6% failure rate. Whereas if you use XRP to do it, it'll be less than 3 seconds, and then like the fees under a penny, okay? But the utility of XRP and that whole like technology is that it could actually eventually replace derivatives. So I talked about like options in the futures market. Like once it gets into there, right, then the XRP could go from 28 cents to maybe even like $100, $1,000, somewhere in between there, right? So like the upside is very, very high, and it has the strongest fundamentals, and it's also the most hated coin because people feel like they're sellouts. And but anyone wants to argue the technical specs of it and then like what it can actually be used for, there's like no competition. VET or VeChain is for supply chain, and so basically they help track things, right, through the supply chain process. They're already being used in Walmart China, BMW in China, and like they have a bunch of partnerships, so they're all actually also being used. And you know, obviously, if say like Alibaba in China or Amazon adopts them, right, and you can see like the potential for that. Theta is for bandwidth sharing. So as there's more and more people, right, you have to be a lot more efficient with the bandwidth. So like when you like stake Theta coins, whatever, basically you can use bandwidth in a lot more efficient manner. And then Theta also has a lot of partnerships. I think they already partnered with Samsung. And then you can see like, if I could have gotten to any of these coins at the time, I think Theta actually would have had the biggest return. Filecoin is basically doing same thing kind of similar with bandwidth sharing, but like data storage sharing. So like kind of like Dropbox, right? So like right now with the cloud and everything, right? This will make it way more efficient. And then Flare is more of like a network that could start using other cryptocurrencies to do a lot of cool things. It's going to use XRP first and primarily, but if Flare takes off, it could do, it could actually do what Theta does. I don't know if I could do what Filecoin does, but the second largest crypto is Ethereum. It could do what Ethereum does faster, cheaper, and it could actually use Ethereum to do what Ethereum does better, right? So utility-wise, this thing, it seems very, very awesome. But again, it hasn't, there isn't mass adoption yet. Well, there isn't adoption in utility yet, so this is more speculation, but like, just from, I like utility and I think it's very useful. Yeah.
Okay, so I do have some questions.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping me understand. So for example, Filecoin, data sharing. So initially when people, novices, think of cryptocurrency, they
Yeah.
think of it as a replacement for the dollar.
Yeah.
And then now as you're talking in this phase, I'm
Yeah.
understanding, oh, this is like stocks or
Yeah.
ownership.
Yeah.
And then when you're speaking about, there's a fixed number unless
Yeah,
you
the difference with this, why it's not stocks, is you're not owning shares in the company. You're participating in like a mechanism for producing that function.
So that's
Yeah.
what I wanted you
Yeah.
to expand on
Yeah.
for a moment here. So just say
Okay.
so that this is the difference that I wanted to get
Okay,
to.
so this is not a security
Right.
because you don't own shares of the company, right? Like Theta, like you need a stake, like 100 or 1,000, I forgot the number, like 1,000 Theta tokens to be able to host a node. And then when you're hosting the node, well, it'll basically generate another token that is going to be used as like the currency for doing the bandwidth sharing. Okay, so like if you host it, basically you'll be generating consistent income because if people start adopting it, they're going to have to use that secondary token to actually use the bandwidth, and then it's more like if there's actual adoption, then you'll make money. Okay, that's the utility of it. You just want to speculate into it. Maybe you need 1,000 tokens to stake to host a node, but you just have like 500. You might not be able to stake, but you're speculating that it's going to get adopted, and then you're still going to make money that way.
So if you're going beyond speculation, then in this case,
Yeah.
you'd actually, the token is actually something that like is connected to more bandwidth. It's like almost like that token purchases or people can buy in to oversee more bandwidth.
Yeah, like I don't want to say something like that because I looked into it maybe to like the second level, right? You're probably asking something that's like more the fourth level, like the exact, so it's called a Theta Fuel token, and then it's like how do they actually, what's the ratio? I don't know the exact number, yeah. But but you're staking Theta token to generate Theta Fuel. Okay. Okay, so none of these are gonna, the only one here that might serve as a currency with this, and this will be a bridge currency. So basically, the whole idea is you're gonna build a corridor around the world. So if I go from peso to US dollar, right, I don't need a peso US dollar pair. I just need a peso XRP pair and an XRP USD pair. So basically, as opposed to like peso US dollar, that's probably a more common one, but let's just say you want to do peso into whatever is a currency in the Netherlands, right? Maybe they don't have that pair, so you literally have to go peso to US dollar and US dollar to whatever they have in the Netherlands. So, and then to do that right now, you have to lock up money in what's called a Nostro Vostro account. So that's what generates a lot of the fees, and basically you just have a lot of money parked, like where liquidity just parked there waiting to actually be used to transfer out of different pairs. Whereas like if you have XRP, it would just be one bridge currency paired with other stuff, as long as you generate enough corridors, which is the route that XRP decided to go. Okay? So,
and the trading markets are open, you said
24/7. So it's you could do this all the time. So you're gonna have to actually learn to adjust your schedule. And then also the other one is like, this is very, very volatile, right? So like if the market moves like 4% in a day, wow, that's really, really big. Like stock market, like the big moving days, you could lose like 30% in a day. But if you follow up, you trust you get the fundamental and the trend, you know what's going on, you kind of get used to it, and you just kind of like trust long term where it's gonna go, right? So I've had, obviously, I had some big gains since last May. I've had days where I literally tripled my portfolio in like 2 days, and then I've had days where I've lost like 40% in one day, Okay, so basically, yeah, and actually let's talk about the psychology a little bit when we're in there. Just know it's very, very volatile. So you know, like even if you expect it, experiencing it for the first time, it's gonna be a little bit shocking. And then when you get in, right, there's day trading, which is reading short-term trends, like trading that day. I would highly recommend not doing that unless that's just your thing. There's swing trading, which is maybe like trading over a few days or like a week or a few weeks. Some stuff you could do that. For most people, I would recommend hodling, okay? Hodling, it's came from some dude who I think he was drunk. He was on Reddit, and he goes, "I'm just gonna hodl," and it just became a thing. Okay, but the whole point is, if you just actually buy and hold, and then you have to have your exit strategy, and we could talk about that more. You'll probably do better than messing around and swing trading. But if you feel the itch to swing trade, do it with a little bit of money to get out of your systems, just so you could get a feel for it. Obviously, I'm curious. I like to mess around with that, and then looking back, I think it probably evened out. I could have just done this, saved myself a lot more effort, or I probably made a little less. If I literally just bought and hold and just held all the way through, I would actually be up more now than swing trading. Okay? And then if you follow, I'll make it real easy. If you just go on YouTube, guy called Blockchain Backer. He likes to do a lot of technical analysis, which is like reading trends and stuff, but he also does a really good job of explaining just where we are in the cycle, what he thinks is going on. I mean, I've been following him for about 8 months now. Very, very spot on what he's calling, and very, very objective. So like, you can follow him, and you'll probably be pretty safe, like to know when to get out, when to exit. But another way, just when you notice there's a lot of hype, there's euphoria, where you feel like it's too easy, where like you're just gonna keep making money. Basically, when you're the most confident is probably time to think about like pulling out a little bit, okay? Whereas when there's a lot of fear, especially in a bull market, speculation, like before the bubble really even started right now, you definitely don't wanna pull out, just hodl, okay? Blockchain Backer.
So in my mind, I was thinking about like insurance, but you never lose it. No one can take it,
Yeah.
but it could drop in value. If it goes up in value, it's just depending on who would buy it from you. So that's the market.
There's always gonna be a market to sell it, right? Like, and yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, thanks for coming, and thanks for watching, guys.